Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Oh, You podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Oh, You podcast. Try to keep a straight face a little bit, Rabbi Glasser. We are so blessed to have with us today Rabbi Yaakov Glasser, who is the managing director of our community engagement arm here at the OU. So welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for everything you do for us at the OU and for all of the Jewish people.
It is an honor and it is a pleasure.
And we've been working together for quite a number of years.
We have.
Number of different places.
Yeah.
It's always been...
But that's not how we met. Do you remember where we met?
I don't.
We met in the YU base medrash. And when I got there in 1996, I sat down at a seat on the left side, and on one side was what would become Rabbi Dr.
Wow.
He learned really loud. And at the next table was Rabbi Asaf Ben Narsh. He was also learning. And I sat down and I met you. You were sitting in the seat next to me, and you were like much older smicha guy. Who I could turn to with questions, and you were into it. You learned with a guy named Simcha. That's where we met. We met in the base
Simcha
medrash.
Jacob, that's right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that your Rabbi David Gottlieb was learning, and Rabbi Asaf Ben Narsh was learning, and you and I were schmoozing. That resonates.
No, we were dreaming of taking over the OU. That was that. Even back then, we were like, "What is this? You know,
amazing.
Oreos or milkshake? We got to get in there. We got to deal with this. You know."
We got it. We got it all squared away now.
We're almost done. Now we're almost done here.
Okay. Good. What's next? We'll get to that at the end of the podcast. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. So let's take it back a little bit.
Good.
Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
With pleasure. I grew up in Los Angeles, California. My family actually moved there when I was about four or five. I grew up in a home where both of my parents were in Jewish communal work. It was our entire life. All three of their children went into Jewish communal work, and all three spouses are in Jewish communal work.
Amazing.
My father was the executive vice president of Beth Jacob of Beverly Hills. My mother was a librarian in Sinai Temple, Sephardic Temple, and people were at our home all the time. My father eventually became the American Friends Office of multiple institutions. So he had one big donor list, and he would go out raising money and for these different institutions. Anyway, I grew up in a home saturated with Jewish communal work. It's all I know. It's all I've ever known. And it shaped my life in every level. Eventually, got very involved in NCSY as a kid. At 16 years old, I left to go to Eretz Yisrael for yeshiva. I was also a musician. We had an amazing band in high school. So I grew up with music also around my house. And then at 16, I went to Eretz Yisrael. And I went to yeshiva for 2 years. And
where'd you go?
I went to Or Yerushalayim. And it was an amazing experience. And I really fell in love with learning. And I developed a chevra that, is just like the who's who of mechanchim and rabbanim in America now. And it was amazing. Amazing chavrusas, amazing rabbeim. And I really, really got turned on to learning there. And then from there, I ended up at YU. I was at YU for 10 years. I did college there. I did smicha there. And then I stayed learning for another 5 years in Kollel. I did the Yadin Kollel. And I loved learning at YU so much. I missed that base medrash a lot.
Yeah.
And I had amazing Rabbeim, Rav Parnas, Rav Rosenzweig, Rav Schechter, Rav Willig. When I was in the Kollel, it was just unbelievable. And my chavrusas from that time were amazing. Some of the people Noah Eisenberg, Shmuel Silber, Rabbi Shmuel Silber.
Wow.
We were chavrusas for like 5 years. Really amazing experiences. And while I was there, so towards the end of college, I married my wife, Ruth. Ruth is a psychologist, Dr. Ruth. And Ruth and I met in NCSY in like 10th grade. And we got married like at the end of our senior year, in the middle of our senior year. She was at your alma mater.
Yeah.
She was at Penn, and I was at YU. We lived in Highland Park, which was in the middle. And we used to get on the train every day, the opposite side, like a movie, opposite sides, and wave goodbye. And then we came back and we started our life together. And it's amazing. It is amazing. And we lived in the Heights for about 7 years. And then Heights was...
Which side of the Heights were you on?
We lived actually on the Breuer side of the Heights. It was hard for two LA kids, because anything without palm trees is not simple.
Did you know each other from LA?
Who, me and Ruth?
Yeah.
We knew each other, yeah, already. First of all, we grew up in the same shul. We grew up in Beth Jacob of Beverly Hills. And Ruth and I grew up, it was a real shul. And so everything we do in our shul, we try to bring over from that shul. So there are a lot of minhagim in our shul that have nothing to do with Pesach and nothing to do with halacha. It's just, that's how we did it at Beth Jacob. And then we were co-chapter presidents of NCSY. Ooh. So our journey helping the Jewish people
intertwined.
Started very, very early. So yeah, we definitely knew each other growing up. And and then we started to build our family while we were in the Heights. And then, is this boring?
No, it's great.
Okay. And then as I was finishing up, in terms of learning at YU, 2 jobs came at the same time. One was to take a shul in Passaic, and the other was to become the regional director of NCSY in New Jersey. And I assumed I'd have to pick until I had a phone call with the shul, and they said, we really want you to come. We'll give you as many Shabbosim off as you need, which was crazy for a shul.
Wow.
And then NCSY said, we really want you to take the shul. We think it'll be good for NCSY, for the regional director in New Jersey at that time, to also be part of the rabbinic community. And so I did that. I took over the region and the shul, and both started to grow. It was working to do the 2 jobs because they were both pretty much, in a growth phase. But then the shul really took off, and the region really, Baruch Hashem, really started to grow and take off. We did a lot of restructuring. We had more volunteers, advisors working in shuls, to more city-based directors. And we started JSU in New Jersey, and the shul grew. Baruch Hashem, it's now got like about 170, 180 families.
From 30, 40.
Yeah. And the shul is basically one big NCSY Shabbaton from beginning to end. Like singing, programming, focus on youth. I'll give you an example. On Simchas Torah, we have an enormous amount of dancing, a lot focused on the kids. And then before the Six Akafa, I stand on a chair. If you hear my voice, clap once. If you hear my, like camp, like the whole place turns into camp. And I make a huge circle around the room, the men on one side, the women on another side, put all the children in the middle, and my father leads the Six Akafa, and we sing slow songs, and then only the kids sing Hamalach HaGoel, and then we have dancing. The whole place is just rocking with different programs and different things going on. So the shul's amazing. And I had the great zchus of doing NCSY. I loved NCSY. I loved New Jersey NCSY. Both of my parents became from in NCSY. And I discovered the emotionality and passion of Judaism in NCSY. And I found my life partner in NCSY. She was regional president of West Coast. David Lukens can share all the different matrix, connections. My mother was regional president of New Jersey exactly 25 years before. I know there's a lot of cheshbonis that he has of exactly how the stars aligned. It was it's been a big part of our life, and it's a big part of who we are. And it brought just so much passion. And I loved Shabbatonim, and I was very involved in building Yarchei Kala, National Yarchei Kala, into what it became. And just amazing. Just an amazing, amazing experience. And I also was able to develop myself so much there.
How?
So much. Because everything was thrown at you. You had to deal with boards and parents and kids and programming and budgets and the OU and rabbis and principals and organizational issues. There wasn't, and I had to deal with other things also. Everything was thrown at you. And you were young and inexperienced, and there wasn't as much training as I'm sure you have now. but there was space to figure it out.
Yeah.
And you were allowed to fail once, twice, and there was such an environment of energy then. The regional directors then were like, it was me and Glenn Black and Aryeh Lightstone and Nachum Zak, and I mean it was and Shir Reif. It was such an amazing chevra, and it allowed me to work on public speaking. There were so many opportunities to teach and speak. Every time we went to another community, I would speak in the shul.
Yeah.
And it was low pressure because I'm not a scholar in residence. I'm not getting paid to do this, but I would use it as an opportunity to like hone my skills. And even though I had a smaller shul in Passaic, I was speaking in every major shul in New Jersey. And it was an amazing opportunity. It's also in the context of NCSY is where I started to develop trying to use humor more in speeches. And I have a
How's that working out?
Mahalach. I work at it. Baruch Hashem. And that had a lot to do with NCSY. That change was inspired there and had a lot to do with what I was trying to accomplish there. And it's amazing. I still hear from the kids that were involved then. Absolutely. And I miss NCSY a lot. But I tried to bring a lot of its energy. People there? Believe me, they know. That I Baruch Hashem, since I came back to the OU, I've been able to spend some time there. Then I came to the OU. Then then I was at YU for 7 great years as being the dean of the Center for the Jewish Future.
And what were you supposed to be doing over there?
Elevating the Jewish communities of North America in serving their rabbanim, their lay leaders, Torah programming, bringing the energy and the hashkafas of YU out into the community.
Great.
Also exhilarating.
Yeah.
And then Rabbi Dr. Josh Joseph knocked on my door and said, hey, we're building an amazing community team at the OU. Would you be interested in coming to join? And after a few conversations back and forth and a classic Yaakov Glasser, let me take 6 months to make a life decision, we finally decided to do it.
You asked 3 or 4 or 27
100,000 questions. Yes. I have my consultants, and all my,
Your own personal board.
Exactly. Anyway, in the end, we came. And this has been incredible.
And it's not even 2 years.
It's not even 2 years. It's incredible. When people ask me, I get asked this all the time, how often do you have to go in to the office? It's a question you get if you say you work in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I always respond. You could interview any of them. I always respond. How often I get to go into the office. I love coming here. I do not love the trip to get here. I'll be honest. The journey is
It's a journey.
It's left to be desired. Although anytime you leave New Jersey, you're mal into something. But the bottom line is, for an LA guy to cross the tunnel and then see the light at the end of the tunnel is New York, also not easy. But Lamaisa, the energy here is unbelievable. The creativity here is unbelievable. The passion for what people are doing is just, it is an exhilarating place to be.
And you are the managing director of Community engagement.
That
could be a lot.
Yes.
So what is it maybe a little bit more specifically for?
Great. So what we work on in community engagement is elevating the religious experience of the North American Jewish community and Jewish communities around the world. And what that means is there are so many different contexts within which people can grow and thrive in their religious life. And each one of our departments, or each one of our programs, addresses a different dimension of that communal reality and provides, whether it's in programming or in people or in support of other organizations to help the community, some measure of transformative impact for people's religious growth. That's
give us
what
a couple
we're trying
examples
to do.
of
There are so many examples.
People are familiar with.
You're going to run out of film, although that's probably a 1990s description. There's probably no film. We have a synagogues initiative. The synagogues initiative works with rabbanim around the country to help them elevate their balabatim. That's our goal. We don't just deliver them information and programs and ideas. We convene them, and we convene them in incredibly creative ways. Instead of putting in the room just a random group of rabbis, we recognize that the rabbinic experience is different depending on where you are and who your constituency is. So we group by affinity groups of constituency. So for example, we'll bring 20 rabbanim here to the OU who all have communities that are in small Jewish communities. So they're shouldering completely different types of responsibilities than someone who's the Rav of the Young Israel of Woodmere, right?
Yeah.
Completely different. We will bring rabbis who all of them have synagogues that have outreach constituencies. So they have to create environments that are welcoming to non-from people. That's a different type of,
Sure.
that's a different type. Everyone should be welcoming to non-from people.
So
But
one thing you do is shuls.
one thing we do is shuls. One thing we do is we have a women's initiative. Women's initiative works in educational space, the community space, and the leadership space. Nach Yomi, one of the signature programs, tens of thousands of women learning Nach every single day. This new program that we have, Lech Knos, where women convene on their own in shuls and living rooms all across the United States. Thousands of women on fast days for Tehillim and messages of Chizuk. We work with women leaders, with Rebbitzins, with lay leaders, in all these different spaces. A tremendous amount of activity in that area. We have
Torah.
We have the most popular Torah apps imaginable, focused on a wide variety of different spaces, all daf, all mishnah, now all halacha, all parsha. Again, tens of thousands of people interfacing with Rabbeim for life. We just had a siyum with Rabbi Rosner live in Teaneck. I can't even tell you what it was like. Talmidim came from Teaneck, from Lakewood. It was like Mashiach. It was like every type of Jew coming together. Why? Because they all learned by Rabbi Rosner. Why? Because everyone has the Old Daf app on their phone.
Right.
And we have OU Torah, Smichas Chaver, advanced halacha learning all over the country.
So there are all these different programs and projects,
So
and if
many.
we went through them all, like you said,
You'd be here all day.
you just gave a presentation, 37 minutes.
Yes.
No, but I wasn't timing
Why does
it.
everyone remember how long that was? Everybody who talks about that presentation, like
You know,
it's also
like-
getting longer as it's being
Yeah,
described
well,
more.
because we're trying to be more honest.
Yes.
But but it's not just the specific departments; it's an approach to community that we are taking at the OU. That you are sort of the tip of the spear in terms of how we should be engaging and can be engaging with the community on all kinds of different things.
Yes.
Right. So you have a vision. You have a sort of an aspiration for where you think this can go, where it's gone in the 2 years that since you've been here, and maybe where you're looking.
100%. We have to recognize that it's a big country and it's a big Jewish people. And it's a very diverse Jewish people. And there are a lot of needs that people have and a lot of opportunities
Sure.
that we have to impact and inspire. We think of the Jewish community almost in concentric circles of impact. Some people we're going to impact at the periphery in a more limited and surface way, but a meaningful way. Some people we're going to impact in a more significant way, and some people we're going to impact in a more transformative way.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of these programs is set up so that the portals of entry are open at no matter what space a person wants to engage. We can have people learning with the OU for 5 minutes a day. We could have people finishing shots with the OU. We could have women finishing Nach with the OU. We could have women receiving a booklet that just elevates their Rosh Hashanah. But we want to impact everyone. We want to impact everyone in some way. And most importantly, we want to convey in all of that impact an aspirational sense of growth. We want people to move from place to place. Being part of the Jewish people can't just be we satisfy all of the requirements and expectations of Torah and mitzvahs. It's got to be a living, breathing, animating life that has meaning and purpose and is constantly striving for something more. That's engagement. I don't love the word engagement because it's a little passive, right?
Yeah.
You engage. But to me, community engagement is the beginning. That's what if we're not engaged, then there's nothing to discuss.
Sure.
For us, unless there's a metric, there's a measure, we know that this has made a difference, this has made an impact. We need to know we're engaged with you, and then there's an opportunity for elevation.
So we're going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Rapid fire, so 10 minutes or less. Okay.
What's that? 10 minutes or less? Rapid fire rabbinic version.
Rabbinic version.
Yeah. How many mezuzahs are there in the OU offices? I'll give you options.
Okay.
119, 125, 98, 145.
125.
So close. 119.
119.
So close. Maybe you know that there's 6 we're missing. Could be. Maybe
We're missing 6?
No, I don't
You know, mezuzahs is in my department.
Yes, I.
That's one of the things we're working on.
We didn't get to.
Are
that.
these OU mezuzahs? They're not.
We got to
So
work on
you
that.
have no mezuzahs.
How many safety reflector belts
Oh boy.
have been distributed to shuls throughout North America? 10,000, 15,000, 31,000, 25,000.
Well, considering the fact that Judy Steiner could get any initiative she's involved in every newsletter that goes out of here and into the State of the Union, I would say 31,000.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. You
Yeah.
got it. What is a must-have dish at your Shabbos or Yontif table?
At our table?
Yeah.
Salads. We're big California people. We have very little
Any
like kugels
specific
and stuff.
salad or just like
Yeah,
anything?
like range of salads. Gratin, like a lot of vegetable stuff.
What's your go-to safer to pick up and read?
It depends on what period of my life. Right now, I'm very much enjoying the Torah of Rav Moshe Shapiro in his set of Shuvi V'Nechse. I've been learning that a lot. But whatever I'm teaching and whatever I'm preparing for drushes, I have Sfarim that I like to go to for drushes. I love the Nitziv. I know you're a big fan of the Nitziv. Yeah, but it's. I love learning. Learning is the best.
You miss it.
I do. I miss the focus
Mhm.
of, you know what I mean? Like I do. But that's amazing about working here also, which is you can grab a few minutes to learn. No, they'll be proud of you. I'm very blessed that I'm in Rabbanus, so I don't have a choice, you know? I have to keep learning and I have to keep writing and preparing and giving shurim, and that's been a big blessing. And I've had many opportunities to give up the shul and go entirely into executive Jewish leadership. And I've always turned them down because I need the shul. I need that. First of all, I need anchor with people, and I need Torah in that way. I've also had chances to give up leadership and only do a shul.
Yep.
And I don't think I'd be happy doing that up because I love strategy and thinking and vision and teams, and that's not the same. It's not the same
Sure.
in the same way. It's scaling things like. So I'm stuck. I have no choice. I have to do both, but I love both. But it's all good.
Our next segment,
Yeah.
you get to ask me. I'm doing all the work over here, asking you the questions.
Uh-huh.
You get to ask me a question.
I get to ask you a question.
Any question that you want.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Josh, you have such optimism when you interact with everyone. Where does that come from?
Wow, that's a good question.
You always think it's going to work out. It's a little annoying.
It is a little
Sometimes.
annoying. It can be a little annoying. On Tisha B'Av, Rabbi Zakatinsky was talking about that in every country that Jews live in, we have an opportunity to learn something from that country.
Mhm.
And so he asked, what's the spark of America that we are meant to lift up? And he spoke about that there's a certain, even irrational optimism and hope. Gold in a Medina, right? That things are going to work out. Rags to riches, sea to shining sea, right? There's this optimism. So for me, some of whatever it is that I have comes from the people around me, right?
You know you're from Canada, right?
In that case, I'm sorry.
What is Canada's contribution?
Right. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right.
But I've lived here for a couple of years, so
yes,
maybe that's
yes.
why. I think that it's a little, Pascal's wager, which is like about faith, right? So you might as well have faith because it's sort of what's the upside in the other, right?
Right.
So I think with optimism, I think some of it is that, like, what's the upside in pessimism? So you could be right a couple times, right? And my experience, I tell a story of meeting Rabbi Gamliel and his encouragement to be besimcha. And my experience is that when I smile at people, there's more of a chance that they're going to smile.
Right.
My experience is if I pump positivity into somebody, there's much more of a chance that they're going to be positive and pump positivity back to me or to other people or whatever it is. And I guess I should have started with this. I don't know if that's what I do. I appreciate the compliment. it's good to have that chizuk from you that whatever I am doing, that it's that's how you experience it. But I'm about people. You talked before about being part of a team. And sometimes when you're a rabbi, you're a little bit of a solo practitioner. But when you come to an office, right? I don't like getting to the office, maybe, right? Like you said, but like I come here and it's like the feeling the energy from other people. And so for me, that's like definitely like a bracha that I get.
That gives it a lot.
That being around others who are positive energy inclined, that encourages me to do whatever I can to be helpful.
It's amazing. It's just, I've always found people with your level of achrayus, like it's pressuring, it's very pressuring. And so, sometimes you can get them in a good, but it's always like, that's usually what you do with bosses. You try to catch them at a good, when they're in a good mood, And I just feel like, it's a good tone that's been set here. And I think people feel it. And I think, I know I feel it. And especially this year where there's been so much pain and so much suffering, to see the posture of the OU as, okay, where could we bring hope and light and support and achdus, and that just seems to be what we're about.
We conclude here by asking you to give a bracha to the OU and to the Chavra.
A bracha to the OU. Sure. Mazonos, you're gonna give to the OU. What kind of bracha you give to the OU? A bracha to the OU. We should be able to accomplish everything within our potential, and we should feel sipuk hanefesh while we do it. And we should be able to do it with as broad a sense of klal as is humanly possible.
We send that right back to you. And thank you so much for everything you do here and across the Jewish world.
A pleasure.
And we appreciate you.
A pleasure. Thank you. I feel appreciated. Thank you.